Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new, welcome. My name is Monica. In today's video, I am going to be going over the first half of my reading for November. So we are over halfway through the month. It's November 15th when I am filming this video, and I had a lot of reading done, but honestly, it makes a lot of sense because of all the stuff that I had to be doing in the beginning of the month. So the first part of the month, I read 28 books, okay? Some of them were really, really good, and some of them, well, they were not. But I know it's a lot. And if you hear some screaming and some cheering and some whistling and all that stuff, my family's watching football. Football in my household is, specifically college football, is a religion. We always have a football game on Saturdays, so it's what it is. So the first book that I read at the beginning of November is the Christmas Playbook by S. Massery and S.J. Selvis. I've never read them before, so I had an ALC from Valentine PR for this book, and it is a holiday novella, and it's about Reese, who goes skiing with his friends for Christmas, and he bumps into Mira. Mira was a neighbor of his when he was growing up, and Mira's family are horrible. Her sisters are just downright disgusting. Mira and Reese, they end up getting booked in the same chalet on accident, and it is one bad fake dating because he decides to help her with her sisters by pretending to be her boyfriend, and it turns into something more. He always had a crush on her since they were kids when they were neighbors. I enjoyed it immensely. The plot was good, the writing was good, it had just the right amount of spice for a holiday novella. It was short, fun, and it was very wintry. So I gave that one 4 stars. Then I went on to Christmas Fling by Lindsay Kelk. This was for a readathon that we were doing for Cozies. Both of these were on my holiday TBR. So the Lindsay Kelk book, I gave 4 stars. It had a lot of family drama, unique characters, and it had the holiday vibes, and it was a romance. Callum didn't want to deal with his family's expectations and judgments, so he made up a girlfriend. So he wouldn't have to go back to Scotland. Well, in walks Laura. She is going to be subletting his apartment in London while he goes to culinary school or pastry school in Paris for 6 months. She is a neurologist. She's studying to be a surgeon, and his parents come and she plays along with it, and he ends up going up to his family's estate in Scotland, and there's a lot of pressure on him, and an ex-girlfriend was there, and his family's had all these expectations on him, and she was just a lot of fun. Like, I really liked Laura, and I loved her friends. Her friends were hysterical. It was cozy. It was definitely family drama, and it was a lot of fun. Like, I had a lot of fun with this, and I gave it 4 stars. I would recommend this one to check out if you wanted to. Another one that I read for that readathon was Home for Christmas by Nora Roberts. This is a holiday novella about Jason, and he comes home from being gone for 10 years, and he couldn't stop thinking about Faith. Faith was the girl that got away. She was 18 when he left. Now he's back, and she's a single mom, and he gets some surprises, and they never stopped loving each other. There's a lot of miscommunication because he didn't actually went and talk to her back in the past, so that's why things happened the way they happened. But again, I had a lot of fun. You had the holiday vibes, you had the romance, which has always been you, and you had a very fun child character. So I give 4.5 stars. I had a blast. It was what I wanted from her. So that one I would recommend as well. Then I read, for that same readathon, was Stockings and Spells by Nancy Warren. This is the next book in the Vampires Knitting Club, and I gave this one 4.5 stars. This one, Lucy Swift is back, and she has a knitting stall at a holiday market in Oxford, England, and she met a girl there who is selling this homemade soap, and this girl's ex-boyfriend won't leave her alone. So Lucy has this thing between Rafe, who is a vampire, and Ian, who is a inspector or detective with the Oxford Police Department. We are going to probably see some more romance between Lucy and Ian. So what's really interesting about this one was the plot. So this girl's father, his academic integrity was called into question because he apparently plagiarized some sources. Then his entire works, a trilogy he wrote that was fantasy. Think about how big Lord of the Rings got. Well, that's what her father, the type of thing her father did. So now he's discredited, thrown out of Oxford because he never finished his degree. His book, nobody believes him that he was the original author. But his friend, who was his roommate, all of a sudden became a millionaire with everything that was happening. Now, here's the thing. Someone is trying to kill Lucy for looking into this and kill this girl who was selling the soap, and it was just like, who was doing all this? I'm really enjoying the Vampire Knitting Club Cozy Mystery series. I loved it. So I read all of those within a weekend, but I was driving a lot. Like, I had a lot of driving I had to do this month for the first part of the month. And then my mother was in the hospital. So there was times where I was just sitting there, and so I was reading because I can't just sit there and not do anything. So reading is a good escape for me. And this next one I read, and I talked about it in a vlog that I just posted, which came out actually today, but you'll see this on Wednesday. It's Little Moons by Jen Storm. And I gave this 5 stars. This was my first 5-star read. It's a 64-page novella about this indigenous girl and how her tribe mourns. In this book, this girl's sister goes missing and they can't find her. So the author stated that she wrote this based upon her own experience with her sister's disappearance. But unlike the girl in this book, her sister was found dead. And this is the way that they were grieving, and it's their culture and how they grieve. And honestly, something needs to be more done to protect these indigenous women. So I would recommend you read that one. And then I got an ALC of Lucky Shot by Rebecca Genchek. This is the first book in the Moonshot Hockey series. And this is Grumpy Sunshine, Single Dad, Hockey Romance. I had a great time with this. I gave it 5 stars because I love the found family and the forced proximity. And I loved that Ruby is a paranormal romance writer who trusted the wrong person. And now she's going back to write this sports romance, but her agent said, do hockey because that's what's popular right now. So she goes to this town where Nick is living with his son, and they were set up so that Nick could explain hockey to Ruby, so she was able to finish her manuscript. And this was during the summer when it was the off season. He was doing a hockey camp with little kids. He taught her how to ice skate, and I absolutely loved this audiobook. I loved the story. The audiobook was full cast, and Nick's son Aiden was really a lot of fun, and I loved the whole found family with Nick's teammates and how they kind of prompted both Nick and Ruby. And I gave this 5 stars. I would recommend this. It is fantastic. So next book I read is You'll Be Mine by Piper Rain. I got an ALC from Valentine PR for this book, and it's about Ashley and Carter. Carter is now staying at Ashley's B&B, and his friend and her sister are getting married, and Carter is also her sister's best friend as well. So Ashley's sister is her identical twin, and everybody tends to judge her around her sister, which it happens anyway. Ashley and Carter end up bonding over getting everything ready for the wedding because Ashley's sister needed to stay on set for an extra few days, and they end up getting snowed in. There's a lot of character growth. This audiobook is fantastic. I loved Christine Lincoln and Sean Masters' narration in this. Everything was just what I wanted in a snowed in holiday romance. And it was really second chance, and I gave it 4.5 stars. I would recommend this one to check out this year, and I do believe it's on Hoopla. So the next few books that I read that in the vlog, just look at the vlog down below to see my full thoughts and reactions to all these, but I'll give you my star rating and any lingering thoughts that I have about these books. So the first book I read in that vlog was The Night Prince by Laura Palfreyman, and I hope I said her name right. Names scare me. Okay, this one I gave 5 stars. I absolutely adored this book. So the next book I read was Stalking Around the Christmas Tree by Jacqueline Frost, and this is a cozy mystery. I gave it 4.5 stars. Loved it. And then I read Rope the Moon, and I'm about, a week out since I've read Rope the Moon. I gave it 5 stars. I will stand by that 5 stars. It was fantastic. And I still don't think that prologue should have been in there. Then I read On That Vlog was Snow Plays Like Home by Laura Pavlov. I had an ALC. It was gifted to me by Laura Pavlov. I'm on her ALC team. She gave it to us with no expectations of talking about it or putting a review out or anything, but I really had fun with this one. I gave it 4 stars. It was a really great holiday romance. The next book I read was an ALC, and it was Mountain Grump by S.J. Tilley. And this one I got from Must Love Audio. This one is about Tilda. Her real name's Matilda, but she goes by Tilda. She is very whimsy and very cute and very sunshiny. She inherited her uncle's mountain property in Lonely Peaks and $20,000. Then she met Ethan her first day. He is a park ranger. He's super broody and grumpy, and she was decorating a fence. He considered that to be defacing public property. But my gosh, he adored her from that moment. Anyway, he was very attracted to her. He had the possessive my woman type of vibes. And her uncle was very mischievous. Like, he planned things out. Her family was just horrific. Like, what they did to her and her uncle was just, no. Anyway, they end up going to Vegas for her uncle, for the reading of her uncle's will. He flies her over per her uncle's instructions, and he ends up marrying her to stop the money, which is millions of dollars, going to her horrible family. He would have married her anyway. So that is the setup. I loved how protective he is. I loved how sparkly and happy she was, and he was so possessive over her, but she brought out the happiness in him. And I absolutely adored this book. It was narrated by Erin Mallon and Connor Crayas, and it was perfect. I gave that one 5 stars. It was what I wanted. So the next book I read was Nobody's Girl by Virginia Roberts Giuffre. It's the book that I finished while I was driving back. This one made my stomach hurt. It made me cry, which was probably not the best thing to read when I was driving home. But her story is extremely important, and it should be read, and the Epstein files need to be released. And I would recommend that you not read this if you have been essayed. She talks about abuse that happened to her by her father and her father's friend when she was a little girl, and how her mother turned her back on her when she was a kid, and that set her up for being a perfect victim for not just Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, but other predators who came before them. This one, if you can handle the subject matter, you need to read it. And the Epstein files need to be released. And then I needed something happier after that one because, that was a lot. That one was very, very heavy. So I listened to an ALC of The Bright Side of Christmas by Morgan Elizabeth. I gave this 4.5 stars. This was what I needed after that book. This was light and happy. And this one is about Adam, who was a rock star years ago, and now he's a songwriter, producer, and he has writer's block. So he moved to Holly Ridge, New Jersey, where it's a close-knit community, and they just absolutely adore Christmas. He moves next door to Ren, who is everything Christmas. She is so bubbly, so happy. She always helps to the detriment of herself. He doesn't really like Christmas, but they end up being next door neighbors, and it starts off with her putting a wreath on his door, and he takes her nutcracker hostage, which was perfect. And he actually starts saying, okay, you go to bed early and I will give you back your nutcracker. Like, some of the things she does is a little outlandish, but they balanced each other out. I absolutely loved how smitten Adam was with Ren, and how Ren really needed to see that, yes, it's good to be helpful, but not when you are putting yourself in harm's way, which she did multiple times. And I understood why she did it. And the character growth in this was so well done. It had a Snowden scene as well, which I love those Snowden scenes. It also had emotional depth that I wasn't expecting. So this one, absolutely adored it. 4.5 stars. I would recommend you read it for Christmas. Then I finally finished I'm Glad My Mom Died. I got this, it was the ebook from my library, okay? It was fine. It was really sad. It took me 2 months and I had to re-up the, like it was gone in like 20 days and then I had to pick it, get it. So it took me 2 credits to read this book because all my hoopla. It was well written, but it was very sad. And I mean, I don't really have anything to say about it. On Goodreads, it's 5 stars because I do not rate a person's memoir other than 5 stars. If I liked it, if I didn't like it, I don't rate it. But in my opinion, it's really a 4-star. But I was also kind of fatigued, especially after Nobody's Girl. So, and it took me a long time to read it, which is that's rare. And then I went on to read The Diamond Die by Kate Quinn. This one is for Leave It to the Pros book club. It's their pick. I freaking loved this book so much. I didn't think I was going to I was nervous going in, okay? So this book follows Mila, and I'm not even going to attempt her last name. Well, let me attempt it. It's Pavlichenko. I think that's how you say her name. She was a real person, and she was a single mother from Ukraine, but she called herself Russian. And this was back during the Soviet Union, during the Soviet bloc. And she was married to a real jerk. His name was Alexei. She was studying to be a historian and she was a librarian. She was living with her parents with her son when World War II broke out. She also liked to sharpshoot. So she ended up enlisting as a sniper. And her nickname, because I actually went and looked her up when I was reading this, her nickname was Lady Death. I absolutely loved that nickname for her. But I think the Germans' nickname for her, because she was a badass, she was truly a badass, they called her the Russian bitch from hell because she had 309 kill shots as being a sniper during World War II. So she killed 309 confirmed Nazis. But obviously it could be more, it could be less, depending on who you talk to. When she was doing research, Kate Quinn read her memoir. Mila, she didn't completely know what her final account was. But after she got injured, she went in 1942 to do this tour in the United States, in Canada, in England. She became friends with Eleanor Roosevelt in 1942. And she did take liberties with this plot, but I understood why, because if you're reading a biography or an autobiography or a history book, it needs to be factual, even if it's dry. With historical fiction, the author is allowed to take liberties to make the book, well, the plot to move along. And this was around a real person and real events that did happen. And I absolutely love the fact that Eleanor Roosevelt was friends with Mila in real life. And when they met again after FDR's death, after World War II, they really did hug. That was real. And my gosh, I enjoyed everything about this book. I didn't actually know that Mila existed, or she existed in this capacity until this book. And so me being a history lover, I went and looked her up. I went and looked up all the stuff, and I really liked how Kate Quinn wrote this book. I'm giving it 5 stars. I was hovering on 4.5, but it made me want to learn more about her, and I loved how she wrote the story, and I loved how she stayed true to the source for the most part. But there are definitely liberties that she did take. But I can't wait for that live show because I'm interested in what everybody else is gonna say. So the next book I read was Wilder Ranch by Lulu Moore. I got an ALC of this. In between Diamond Die and Wilder Ranch, I re-listened to Once Upon a Christmas Tree. This was the holiday novella that Lulu Moore put out last year about Alex and Haven, and it's how they hooked up and stuff. Well, since I knew I was getting the ALC for Wilder Ranch, I wanted to refresh my mind. And I'm glad I did. But you do not need to listen to or to read Once Upon a Christmas Tree to fully appreciate this book, but I would recommend it because you get to see how they met and how really they connected. Wilder Ranch picks up 10 months after the events of Once Upon a Christmas Tree, and it continues Alex and Haven's story. Now, Valentine Nook, which was the first book in the series, was his brother Lando's story with Holiday, who is a famous American actress. That one, so you get to see that their characters in this one as well. So I understood why she didn't go directly to Alex and Haven's story when she was writing these books. So this one, the story has always been you vibes with forced proximity because they actually live together. Secret baby, single mom, second chance, small town, and holiday romance. There is a holiday romance. You could put this on your holiday TBR, and I would recommend that you do. So Haven was exhausted and overwhelmed with being a new mother. Her daughter, Everly, is 1 month old, and she goes to Valentine Nook, England, to find Alex. She goes there not for help. She goes there because she's like, I need Alex to meet his daughter because I need my daughter to have her family. So Haven's parents both died, and now she's alone, and she doesn't want her daughter to be alone. Fast forward to when her daughter's a month, she goes to England. Alex is like, I have a child. Alex could not get Haven off his mind for the last 10 months. And he was going to buy her family ranch when she put it up for sale for $100 million. She did not need that money. So anyway, they meet and they start to co-parent Everly. And while they co-parent Everly, they pretend to be friends because they were never really just friends. They have this intense chemistry. Their relationship felt very natural. And I loved how he took care of Haven and she took care of him in her own way, and he took care of her in his own way. And I loved that his family all rallied around Everly and Haven. Even his mother, who was quietly like, we need to have a paternity test. Even Haven's like, I want a paternity test just so there's no questions, right? Because this guy is a lord. His brother's a duke. They were just being practical at that point. Anyway, I loved the family dynamics between Alex and his brothers and his sister. There was a lot of tender moments, a lot of genuine familial love between the siblings and their mother, as well as them inviting Haven into their fold. And even Haven getting to know Holiday and his sister Clementine, and they called her Clemmy. I absolutely loved this book. This is how I wanted their story to end after reading Once Upon a Christmas Tree last year. I am here for the vibes. I would recommend Wilder Ranch. You don't need to read Valentine Nook before this, and you don't need to read Once Upon a Christmas Tree. Do I recommend you do? Yeah, because you get to see the characters. But this is a great holiday romance. You have the holiday vibes. And Alex is definitely a Grinch because of how he feels. And this is not a spoiler because this was in Once Upon a Christmas Tree. Alex feels responsible for his father's death because his father was killed in a car accident coming back from getting a Christmas tree because Alex asked him to go get his Christmas tree. And so that's why he doesn't like Christmas. Understandable. But that is it for this video. Let me know if you've read any of these or if you want to read any of them. Let me know all the things. And if you made it this far in this video and you want to let me know what you hear, please leave me a diamond emoji for a diamond eye. And until next time, my friends, happy reading.